What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's Dragonborn, Desra.
And sitting across from me is the guy who got the wear red and black note tonight.
The memo is official. Everyone got the memo. Everyone that came into the studio today had to wear red and black. It's red and black day.
And I have to correct you, I'm not Dragonborn. I'm Dovahkiin.
See, there's going to be a lot of this episode. There's going to be a lot of me saying things that I'm not sure what they mean, and you're going to be saying a lot of things that, I'm not going to be sure what they mean.
So, what game are we talking about?
So every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dive into the PlayStation VR back catalog, this is a rule we break every episode now.
Pretty much.
And just, we talk about a random or very specific PlayStation VR game. This week, what are we going to talk about, Des?
Talking about Skyrim VR.
So, Skyrim VR was announced at this E3.
Yeah.
To much fanfare.
I don't think we're quite stretching it too much because, sort of our what we do is we talk about games that have gotten, maybe came out a little while ago and serious updates and have had massive changes to them. So this is really, Skyrim originally came out over 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah, November 11th, 2011 it first came out.
From a certain point of view, this is just an update.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of people out there that are pretty mad that this update cost them $60 more. And, I can't come to your defense at all. How many people are like, I've bought this game 5 times already. And I was like, and you're going to be upset about the 6th time where you actually get to play it from the inside? I was like, why is this the one you're complaining about paying full price for? Why is this the one, the only necessary update? All right, that said, came out November 17th, 2017. Do you know that last week on Stifled, I said it came out this Halloween, 2016. And I didn't even realize after I said it. Thank you, Mr. Cape Canaveral, for pointing that out. Shh.
Always there to point out our flaws.
Please don't point out any of our flaws this week. There's going to be a lot of them.
Oh my God, so many.
I promise you.
So many mistakes.
So Skyrim's a game obviously came out many times.
Yes.
And one of those times, it was bought to me by my ex as a present, who knew that I loved Fallout. It was like, right, you're going to love this too.
Sure.
And I was like, do I get to kill dragons? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill dragons with a fireball? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill dragons with a fireball that comes out of my hand? Yeah. And guess what I did with that game? I killed the dragon with a fireball that came out of my hand, and I never played it again. Because that was all I wanted to do.
Okay.
And the rest of it was filled with fantasy stuff, with silly town names and people's names that I can't pronounce, and it's all fantasy stuff that drives me up the wall. And I wish I liked fantasy more, but instead I like Fallout.
Yeah.
But every time a game goes to VR that I'm not totally sold on, or a game that's in a genre that I'm not totally sold on, that comes to PlayStation VR, something magical happens. A wise man once said, VR makes everything better. And inexplicably, it also made Skyrim better.
Yeah. So I come from this at a completely different angle. Although, until PSVR entered my life, I was my thing was always being at least a generation behind.
Yeah.
It was a way to save a whole lot of money and get away from all the hype. You could just see a game that had all this hype behind it and then no one actually liked it. Well, if you play that game 3 years later, you can actually kind of sort through all the garbage. So, except for VR stuff, totally recommend that.
Wait, so are you trying to tell me that you played Skyrim 3 years after it came out?
I played Skyrim 4 years after it came out.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, I was among the people obviously, I am a geek. I'm kind of, on the internet and all that. So I heard all the in-jokes about taking arrows to the knee and whatnot. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. A lot of hype about this game. There's no way it can actually be worth that amount of hype. It's just going to be one of those popular things. And then, about 2 years ago now, I was walking through the used bins of GameStop, which is pretty much where I get all my games. Found a copy of Skyrim plus all the expansions for $14.
Can't go wrong.
Seriously, how can I not? And immediately just got sucked into it. It was amazing, worth every little bit of hype.
Des used to have a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
And now he just has this.
Now that's all I have.
Yep.
this
Skyrim
microphone
took over,
and this water bottle.
and everybody said goodbye.
And this, I need this.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Now you're over encumbered.
No. Oh God. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But anyways, so I had played Skyrim for at least 100 hours. I can't even imagine how much time I actually put into that. And when it was announced, I was like, "Oh, great! That's exciting. It's going to be great for VR, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll probably be like a pretty close to a make or break for PSVR."
Yeah.
But I wasn't personally super interested in actually playing it again because I was kind of done. And then some reviews started coming out. The early reviews were like, "This is a steaming pile of garbage. Don't play it."
Yeah, for about, I'd say, 2 weeks to a month before the actual release.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like everybody at trade shows or everybody that got to play a preview build was playing an old build, and there was a lot of negativity surrounding it for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think most of that comes from the move controls that most reviewers or most previewers were forced to use during their brief stint with the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys have used move controls for any game that has full locomotion, or as it's called in this game, direct movement. I'm a little curious if we're gonna switch over to that terminology, because what Bethesda says goes, and I'm down with it. Direct movement, it actually makes even more sense than full locomotion. I'm cool with it. You guys let us know what you want.
So my own personal hesitance plus those reviews, I was really like, all right, well, I was really thinking I'm going to let Brian and Michelle buy this, and then maybe I'll sit and play their copy a little bit and see if it's worth, because I don't know. I have my motion sickness issues anyways, and do I really want to pay $60 to play this? Then the stream happened.
The 12-hour live stream?
The 12-hour live stream. And Brian let me sit in on that. And you can just go back and see. I think it's the third.
Yep.
Yeah, the third version.
It's the third video, part 3, in the 12-hour Let's Play, and it is also the second to last hour. I think you pretty much take over the second to last hour of that video. So if you want to see Des play it, it's all there for you. Yeah,
and basically it's just, I don't know, an hour of me going, holy crap. Oh my God. What? It's completely brought a new perspective to the game. I'm playing it in a totally different way than I played it my first time through, and it's phenomenal. I don't know where I was going with that, but just and also the reviews, like right before it was released, all of a sudden the reviews were saying, "Hey, this is a thing." Yeah. For the most part. Yeah. There's a lot of VR hate out there, and inexplicably so. But that's a whole conversation for another time. I want to be the cool kid. That's it. I guess. Cool kids can't like the Also, clickbait. That's a thing. Yeah. So, which is why this episode is going to be called "Why We Hate Skyrim VR." Oh my God! Right? We'll get a ton of views, and then everyone will. And we have 300,000 views and 500 death threats. 500 death threats. That's exactly where we're going with that. So let's get a basic overview of this game. Okay. Just for anyone who's absolutely not familiar with Skyrim, even my brief stint with it earlier on, I have no concept of what no concept of what Skyrim is. And the thing is that I'm 30 hours currently into Skyrim VR. Okay. I still have... Wait, what? What? Just doing some quick math in my head there. I've been playing I played for 12 hours the first day, 9 hours the next day, and over the course of the last 2 days, about 6 hours a day. Wow. Yeah, I haven't left my apartment. Also, I don't have any friends or a relationship. You do now, with Delphine and... Yeah, but I killed Lydia, so now no one loves me. I know. Yeah, can we just talk about that? And how I killed Lydia? I'm just like, okay. While Brian's in the stream, I'm just dropping in and out every couple hours because I'm doing all my other kind of dev stuff. And I start out when he's just starting out, everything's fine, and I come back, I killed Lydia. What? How? Why? Okay, so what was that decision tree? So I have a thing. Okay. All right, and it's a thing that's always haunted me. It's been haunting me ever since online multiplayer became a thing. And bear with me, I know this isn't multiplayer or online. Okay. Whenever I do a team deathmatch, okay, I'm always killing people on my own team. Okay. Like, because I just don't... in the heat of battle, when things are intense, if someone's in front of me, I'm trying to kill them. Sure. Lydia stood right in front of me, and I was throwing fireballs, and she was just... Oh, okay. And I was like, why is this one taking so long to take down? And it's
I don't know. I just killed the crap out of her, man. And
right.
and eventually I was like, why is this one carrying so much stuff? Oh no, this is all my stuff. Oh no, this is Lydia. It was really heartbreaking to find out that my hatred of Team Deathmatch is carried over to Skyrim VR. It was totally accidental.
Okay, well that makes more sense. I thought like you had gotten introduced to her at Dragon's Reach and you just lashed out and killed her.
No, I was super excited to go adventuring with somebody.
Yeah.
I was like, look, she's going to carry all my stuff. I'm not going to be over encumbered. This is going to be fantastic.
And she's going to be a little passive aggressive about it too.
Yeah. I actually liked Lydia.
Yeah, no, Lydia's great.
She doesn't like me anymore.
No, well, she doesn't like anything anymore.
She doesn't dislike anything either. She doesn't do a whole lot of anything except lay on that cavern floor. So poor Lydia.
Pour one out for Lydia.
But here I am, again, getting back on topic.
Yeah.
30 hours into the game. I have no concept of what's going on in this world.
Okay.
This is a huge, gigantic fantasy world, and every time someone starts talking, I sort of zone out a little bit.
Okay.
And the beauty of it is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do to enjoy this game, if you want to enjoy it as much as I have, which is pretty easy, just wander around. Mm-hmm. See, when I say I like Fallout more than Skyrim, after you get over like the overarching theme of the game or the overarching story, which again doesn't really matter, you do the same kind of stuff. You start off at your home or your base or wherever you're hanging out, mm-hmm. and you just pick a direction and go.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. I think the best part of these open world Bethesda games aren't, taking down each story mission. Mm-hmm. It's just going out and seeing what you find.
Yeah.
And that includes like running into a random cave, running into a bandit camp or whatever. And just, I'm going to kill some things and explore and see what I find. And maybe you get a cool weapon or a spell or you like level up and it's just so much to do. And after 30 hours, again, I don't even technically know what I'm doing. Forget about the story that's going on in this world.
Yep.
I don't know anything about alchemy. I don't know anything about smithing.
Yep.
All these things that like require crafting and construction stuff, like anything that requires some attention on my part, mm-hmm. I know nothing about.
And that's the great part about this game is you can approach it and play it pretty much however you want. If you want to be like full on role playing, I'm going to be this kind of character and I'm going to only do good things or bad things or whatever, that's fine. If you want to sit there and learn how to craft and make spend your time and effort on crafting your own amazing weapons instead of going out, you can do that. You can completely ignore that part of the game and still have a satisfying gaming experience. It is an open world game by the most expansive definition of that term.
So do me a favor.
Okay.
And maybe the people who are watching that are like me.
Yeah.
Can you do them a favor too?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in this game? What is this story? I know nothing. Yeah. I don't know how this happened. I know nothing.
The main storyline involves you, whoever you decide to be, and let's talk about character customization.
Let's do that for a second.
You can do you can be any one of like a dozen races?
Roughly.
And you can male, female, like total control. I mean, you could spend 45 minutes just tweaking every little jot and tittle of your face.
But now that's interesting too, because in every version that came out before this, you could switch to third person mode.
Yes.
And you could actually appreciate the character you created.
Yep.
After you create your character in this, you never see him again.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's problematic, and I understand some of the complaints about it, especially like, hey, I just got all this cool armor, I want to see that, and, I want to see how badass I look or whatever. Yeah, you can't do that, but if you think about the programming challenge, what would a third-person view in VR do? Where you're going to set the camera point of view and all that?
It's Merville's, kids. Merville's.
Yeah, I can totally understand where they just decided, we're not even going to deal with that issue. The one thing I'm not going to cut them slack on is your hands.
Okay, what's up with the hands?
Well, the hands are perfectly fine if you're holding a weapon.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then they turn to the move controllers. And not like a cool, like, in-universe kind of version of move controllers, just your straight-up move controllers.
Well, and that's if you're playing with move controllers.
Yes.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. Well, we'll get to that.
This is a two-parter, guys. We're gonna deal with a lot of the technical things in
Strap
part
in,
two.
folks.
But part one, we're gonna take care of the basics.
Okay.
So
okay, you build your character.
Yep. Which you can never see again.
Yes. Yep. Let's see. I mean, plot-wise, you're about to be executed, And just before the executioner axe comes down, which is actually, this is really cool. This was a scene where in the original version, it was like, okay, you have your, first person perspective of it. But actually being in VR and having your head on the executioner's block is pretty darn cool.
Pretty darn cool.
At the last minute, this dragon comes out and roasts everybody except for you and a handful of other people. You escape. And eventually you find out that you are indeed a dragonborn or Dovahkiin, which means that you can kill a dragon, take their power, and you had no idea about this. You don't know what it means, and eventually you go and discover what this means and what this means for the world, because this is in Skyrim and the world of Tamriel, totally. Dragons were something that used to exist, but they're thought to be all centuries dead. It turns out they're coming back. And hey, you just popped up with this whole Dragonborn thing too.
So obviously there's some kind of connection going on.
Right. And eventually, spoilers for a 6-year-old game.
Not a crazy spoiler. You kind of get the impression that that's what's going to go. That's what's happening from the get-go.
And that's the main storyline. But also within that, there's all these different choices you can make. Are you going to be one who's going to let the dragons still exist or kill them all or whatever? And the game doesn't... There's no carrot and stick. It's not like, where Fable, where like you make a bad choice and you get a little negative and devil pop up, or you make a good choice. It's just you do things.
It's what do you want to do? Yeah. There's no right or wrong answers. There are factions you can team up with and join, which now, unlike Fallout, you can join all of them, right?
You can, and yeah, that is one of the kind of, I guess, things that ends up being sort of silly about the game is you can join and eventually run like every faction in the game, which means by the end of the game, you're the head of the College of Winterhold, you're the head of the Dark Brotherhood, you're the head of the Thieves Guild, you're the head of... It's like, yeah.
You're the Jesse Shell of Skyrim. You do everything.
So there's all the different storylines, all the different factions you can join, and here's the thing: you don't know what's going to trigger a new quest or a new storyline. You could just pick up a book, read it, and all of a sudden, something new pops up, and there's a whole new quest.
Or you're somewhere else entirely.
Yeah. Or you go to sleep one night and someone wakes you up. Has that happened yet?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Without giving you any spoilers, because I find this fascinating. I encountered a few people out randomly. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't on any kind of like story mission or anything like that. Something random just happened. And I will tell you, without telling you what happened, that because of these people that attacked me, I went off on this side quest for probably about 4 hours.
Yeah.
In any other game, that would have been like the entire game. But in this, it was just something else to go do for a while.
Want to hear a Des Nugget that'll probably blow your mind at this point?
I'm super excited.
So all the dungeons, most of these things end up having you going to a dungeon. From the article I read, there are over 230.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
That's unbelievable.
And here's the thing. There are huge chunks of this game which you could very possibly finish the main quest and never see, because you didn't pick up that right book, or you didn't just happen upon that one guy who was sitting on a log in the middle of the woods somewhere. It's the depth of this game is absolutely astonishing.
I think the great thing is that, like, if you're ever doing something that you're not interested in which I got to be honest, that hasn't happened to me yet, but if you can just at any point just pick something else to do.
Yeah.
Like, obviously the game keeps track of all the quests you're on, otherwise you'd just be totally lost. At any point, there's like 50 things going on at once. You just be like, and you can go through and read and be like, well, do I want to go do this? Do I want to go do this? Oh, I remember that story arc. Maybe I should go check out what that guy's doing and see what happens when I bring him this thing. So it's impossible to be bored in this game.
And on the other side, like, the way that you handle leveling up and things like that, you get rewarded for doing things you like to do.
Yeah.
So let's say you like using magic. Well, the more you use it, the more experience you get using it. It's great. It's one of the most natural experience building things you'll ever see. You don't have to pick up and drink some magical experience potion or go to someone and buy experience. You're just like, hey, you like using one-handed weapons? Guess what? You're going to get good and get perks for using one-handed weapons. It's exactly like things work in the real world. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Shocker.
Yeah, even simple things like lock picking.
Yeah.
It's just it's seeing that bar fill up and leveling up and getting to choose what you do with, like, your leveling up points. It's all very rewarding. And when I look at that skill tree, it's almost overwhelming because I'm like, well, I'm very, very into my magic. I'm very into my magic of destruction. I'm walking around the countryside with fire in one hand and either ice or electricity in the other.
Okay.
And I'm just like constantly, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. But I know that there's way more to this game than that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I keep finding these cool one-handed weapons, so I'm like, well, maybe I should also level that up as well because who knows, I can have fire in one hand and a sword in the other. And it's so many things you can do, and I always feel like I'm one step behind the game. And so every time I find something new, I'm like, oh man, maybe I should have been leveling this up the whole time. It's tough for a newcomer like me to just dive right in. And if you go online, there's like hundreds of pages like on Wikipedia and with the internet in general, and they give you advice about what to do if you've never played Skyrim before.
Yeah.
But you know what? I kind of feel like I did this the right way. Oh, yeah. I chose a race without really knowing its advantages or disadvantages. I started a game and I started leveling up different things, not knowing what I'd like to do. And then as I realized maybe sword swinging and holding up a shield isn't, or maybe two-handed weapons aren't my thing, I realized that this magic thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I started pushing all my points toward that. And as you said, the more you use it, the more you level it up.
Yep.
So it is all very organic, and I'm really enjoying that Skyrim gives you that freedom to just play however you want to and learn as you go. I think you might ruin a few things if you do research ahead of time.
Yeah, it really is kind of the whole point of the game is just to go out into the world and explore. And yes, there are tips and tricks, and in the next episode we'll kind of give you some pointers as far as that goes. But yeah, looking up study guides or whatever, that's kind of ruining the point. It is a game of exploration. It's a game where you can walk around. You don't know if this enemy you meet in the meet on the road is someone you're going to be able to talk to, bargain with, kill, or oh my god, they are way outclassing you and you need to run away.
Right.
And that's kind of the joy of it.
So it's probably a good place to stop.
Okay.
We could talk about Skyrim literally forever because the game lasts pretty much that long. But we're gonna stop right here. If you can't tell already, we love this game.
A little bit.
So if you're waiting for whoa, I wonder what they're gonna rate it. It's gonna be great. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a 1.
Yeah, it's totally a 1.
Yeah.
So make sure you come back next week for the conclusion of why we love Skyrim VR, and we'll go into some of the more nuts and bolts about this thing. We'll talk a little bit about what happens when you play on a standard PlayStation 4 versus a PlayStation 4 Pro. We'll talk about all the different.
We'll answer the questions that Brian answered 10,000 times.
Yeah, kind of. Different control schemes, anything you want to know, we may actually cover. You just never know. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe we'll have to do a third part. All right. That said, for Why We Love PlayStation VR, I'm Brian Paul.
I'm Des.
And we'll see you for part 2 next week.